Hey friends, Leigh Brown here with some tips for how you can become more magnetic in your general life. Now, if you're in sales, you need to be halfway magnetic because frankly, some of y'all are repulsive and that is not helping your sales at all. And what's repulsive to people is frankly a couple of things. The first one is you're perceived as pushy. So if you want to be a magnetic person, you got to think about the pull factor versus the push factor. And social media is the best way for me to explain to y'all how to achieve a pull factor instead of a push factor. You are not going to be a magnet if you post things about your feet. Frankly, if you've had surgery on your feet, please don't post that. People like to tell us too much, and that is not magnetic. And then you have people who want to tell us how great they are at everything. You're amazing, number one, woo, and nobody cares about that either. Those things make people hide your social profile. In fact, they're not even unfriending and unfollowing you. They're just hiding you because they're passive aggressive too, and they are not going to let you know that they have vanished. What you'll find with people that are magnetic, they pull you in. They ask fun questions. They're not asking these little tired questions you see some of the social media coaches ask, but they ask real questions like I asked a couple of weeks ago. I said, how am I going to find a way to sleep? Y'all have to give me some of your best sleep solutions because, spoiler alert, I'm terrible at sleeping. And I will tell you that a lot of people have opinions and ideas, but you know what? It is amazing how often people are asked for help. Yeah, not very often anymore, and they love it. So let people help you. Tell them where your challenges are and bring them in, because we're none of us perfect at everything. So if I'm an excellent salesperson who's terrible at sleeping, if I ask for help on sleep, well, that's going to provide me with an opportunity pretty soon to provide my own information in regard to sales, which is what people will come back to you for. See, you have pulled them into your expertise by virtue of being available. The other thing that makes people magnetic on social profiles is frankly silly faces. So if you make a video like this one, don't go for the perfect thumbnail. No, go for a face instead, because people are more likely to be attracted to somebody who's not perfect. I don't know why we have built this social media world that says you're supposed to be perfect all the time, but it's not real. So quit trying to be that person. Just be yourself, warts and all, because frankly, people probably like you very well, but not everybody. And that's the second thing about knowing how to be a good salesperson and how to be more magnetic. Quit thinking everybody has to like you. They do not. Now, I know this is not a surprise if you're watching this video and you are an older person, maybe such as myself, with only Clairol knows how old I am. But younger people, some of y'all, not all y'all, but some of y'all, have been told by your parents that you are amazing and that you are number one and awesome. And while that may be true for some of you, it's not true for all of y'all, which means that you are not going to be liked. Some people are going to see you and not care for the way that you carry yourself. Maybe like me, you have an accent, and some people will judge you and take off IQ points because they heard your accent. You don't have to care for them either. There's also going to be people that will lie and cheat and steal and thieve from you. You do not have to like them, because frankly, if they liked you, they wouldn't do you that way. What you want to think about is that magnetic personality has this amazing quality because you draw people to you that are like yourself. And if you're trying to sell anything in life, whether it's yourself to your future spouse or you're trying to sell a car or a house, you are going to have a much easier time when you've attracted a client base that gets you and that you get them. And that's okay. Now, this does mean, I'll make a 2A here, that for those of y'all that are super magnetic, you're going to wind up drawing in some of the wrong people from time to time. So you want to make sure that you do have good contacts in your own profession or in your personal life to whom you could hand these people that you do not want to work with. And I'll just lean on the good Texas cliche, which is very true, that there is a butt for every saddle. But all butts don't go in the same saddle. So remember that it's okay. The third key to being a magnetic personality is a sense of humor. I don't know why we're all so afraid of laughing now. We're in this world that says that you're offensive if you're making somebody laugh. But just think about Dave Chappelle. The man is a comedic genius and has no cares for whether you like him or not, which makes him wildly successful. And he is humorous because he just says what he thinks in a pretty funny way. And what I really love about Dave Chappelle is that when he tells something that he finds to be funny, He giggles. He's not trying to make y'all understand cerebrally what's going on. He gives you a clue, a good context clue. So if somebody says something funny around you, go on and giggle. And then don't be afraid to talk about your own past stories and fallacies and the things that you've seen and observed in life. Think about why Jerry Seinfeld is also wildly successful. He just observes things and talks about them. Or my comedic heroine, Jeannie Robertson, she just tells stories about her life and her husband, and it's pretty daggum funny. And you know what happens when people laugh around you? Their defenses come down, and that can make you a great attraction to all kinds of people, because when they're not defensive, they can hear what you're saying, and hopefully what you're saying has some impact and import, and you can talk about what you're selling, or you're talking about leadership, or you're talking about just making life better. If people are open to your message, it's going to go a lot further. Now, I'll tell you a fourth key to being a magnetic personality is listening. And I know that sounds weird because we think about magnetic people as doing all the talking, which frankly, y'all are watching my video where I'm doing all the talking. Good thing I have the camera. But in real life, people need to be listened to. And it's amazing how drawn they'll be to you when you listen. And I mean listening like this. Look right at them. Don't look over the shoulder looking for the next person. You're going to look at your target and make eye contact. Even if millennials tell you it's creepy, it's not creepy to make eye contact. In fact, we've got to teach our new generation some good skills on eye contact and body language. Maybe I'll do a video about that sometime. But anyway, you're going to make great eye contact. You're not going to look away. And you're going to ask a question. And when you ask a question, use their name. And if you don't know their name, I'll give you a tip for that. Find somebody nearby and say, "Hey, Bob, come here. I want you to meet a friend of mine." And then if you've set this up with Bob in advance, he will shake hands with this new person, introduce himself, and you can listen and get their name. Ta-da! Big magic win for everybody. But you'll say their name, and then you're going to ask them a question. Maybe it's, where'd you get that sweater? How you think the weather's doing today? It can be something very banal. And let them answer. And y'all, if you're really good at eye contact and body language, you can always hear when somebody's got a story to tell because they'll lean in. Maybe their voice will break. Maybe they breathe a little more differently. And when you catch those moments, just shut up. Be available. Now, I am well known in the world for not letting anybody cry alone. It is a personal policy of mine. And so if somebody looks like they're getting very emotional, I'll reach out and hold a hand. And I know that in today's society, we act like that's the be-all, end-all of bad behavior, but for heaven's sakes, people are healthier when they have had human touch. It's a good physiological practice. I'm not saying be creepy. I'm saying let that person know that you hear them and give them a little bit of space. You will be the most magnetic person ever if somebody feels noticed and heard in your presence. That's a gift we can give each other, frankly. So if you're thinking about how to be that more magnetic person, just think about yourself as a gift you are given to the world. And the gift that you give to the world is often about the recipient, much more so than it is about anything you had to say or do. So I hope that helps in your life a little bit. Make sure you subscribe for more of the Leigh Brown facts on things in life, because I've been very successful in this world, and I'd love nothing more than to help y'all find a little bit of ways to get better. See you next time.